looking back at my preliminary task, there are a few things that I've definitely learned and developed in. For example, for this project of creating my own music magazine, I've learnt to obtain useful research from existing magazines to help with my own. So seeing what works for a certain type of genre. For example, I did a rap music genre, so paying attention to the way the model was looking at the camera, the colour scheme, the way the artist was perceived. So if it was women, they were most likely portrayed in a sexual light. If it was men, they were more dominant and professional. This was different to the preliminary task because we didn't research into that much depth. It was more finding a broad range of college magazines and just seeing what we liked about it and what we didn't. Whereas for this project, we looked at conventions that were effective for the magazine and the audience. As well, I learnt from this project to be a lot more organised and assertive when planning photo shoots. So if a model was to give me excuses as to why they couldn't bring certain clothes or something, I'd have to drop that model because I set myself a deadline on when I would get these photos done. So I was a lot more assertive on what I had to get done regardless of excuses and such. This was different from the preliminary task because I didn't have a set mind as to where I wanted my magazine to go. It was more I was going along with what was happening, so I would grab a few people and then try test it out when I was taking test shots. And so I did test shots as well for my rap magazine, and because I had an idea of how I wanted the people on the front cover, double page spread, contents page, how I wanted them to look, I felt that the photos came out a lot more smoother and they made sense and they connected with each other. Overall, I feel that my photography skills and skills regarding technology as a whole have definitely developed. I have a broader understanding of different shots and how they affect the reader or the audience, and having experience with creating a magazine beforehand, I feel like I've developed in the innovative ideas that I have when creating my magazine and what would make it stand out from all the other rap music magazines. I also feel that my skills using Photoshop has developed immensely, whereas before I would be able to use it quite to a basic standard, whereas now I can do almost anything to a slightly professional level. I definitely feel that the preliminary task, as I've mentioned at the beginning of this project, I felt the preliminary task was definitely used as a sort of guide for me. I had practice with it, and this project has just expanded my knowledge and skills and really pushed me to create something to the best of my ability, and I'm really proud of my media product.